Was really good. Was really good. Gonna be going over my watch list going into next week. The stocks I'm gonna be looking out, some good breakouts, setups, and overall continuations. And let's get straight to it. All right. So one of the first stocks I'm gonna be looking at is LX. Okay. There's a lot of potential with this. Really good contracts, cost wise, when it comes to delta and overall movement when it comes to fluctuation in contracts. Now, looking at the daily time frame, obviously we look super choppy, and that's mainly because we begin stuck at this gap, at this market open gap right here, and at the structural level at the top right here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to be looking for is a breakout in either way. Okay. So to the buy side, which is more prominent and what I'm mainly looking for, a strong break above the 7.74 level. We will be taking out the structural highs, and we will most likely see price run up as far as like $8.54. Around there, we could possibly see this run up all the way up to like the $9 range. I doubt we'll see it run up any further, but it's possible. You never know what could happen. But with a strong enough breakout, we could definitely see this get anywhere between 8.4 all the way up to like 9.4. Okay, and then to the sell side, obviously we are stuck in this gap. So if we can get a strong break below the 692, I could definitely see price get to the 673. And as long as we can get a straight break below this, looking at like the hourly time frame, then we could definitely expect price to seek all these big higher time frame daily liquidity points, as primary liquidity points, and price to seek to fill this unfilled gap all the way from, I believe, January 15th, my birthday. All right. And that's the first stock that I'm going to be looking at. Again, the contracts are really well just simply because it's such a low price stock and not a super high market cap stock, meaning there's a lot of room for fluctuation and big moves in contracts when it comes to this overall stock and movement. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to be looking at is MSTR. MSTR has had a really good bullish move going into this week overall, simply because of Bitcoin hitting some new higher highs, and hitting new all-time highs at like 118K. And that's mainly just because they own like well over $500,000 freaking dollars worth of whatever Bitcoin, or 500,000 Bitcoin, which is like $76 billion or some bullcrap. I completely forgot, but a crap ton of freaking money. You feel what I'm saying? And because of that, we had a really strong breakout after forming a new structural higher low in the daily time frame, continuing its overall bullish structure and strongly breaking out of this overall trend over here. And again, a very strong breakout. We did have a little pullback on this daily candle right here off of this level, and then we ended up jumping all the way back up top, strongly breaking past this structural level right over here, which price also did retest and reject off of the previous day. Okay. Now, if we can move to the hourly time frame, obviously we are still in very strong bullish structure. What I'm going to be looking for, ultimately is a strong push past this high right over here, because price already came up, formed a new higher high, and then came back down, forming a higher low within its current market open gap from yesterday. And then at the market closed with a ton of distributed bullishness. And if price can strongly break below this, strongly break above this 437.31 level, then we are definitely going to see this jump all the way up to like the 460s and above. Now at 463, we do have an unfilled market open gap top border, and that could stop price in its tracks. So I do have that marked out. We also have another structural level at 504.88, which is just an overall high point where price ended up rejecting from its close to previous all-time highs. And then obviously the last point above is going to be 542. 542.95, because if I am correct, and I did see correctly, that should be all-time highs. Yes, so we could very much see price hit all-time highs, because looking at the freaking weekly time frame, dude, the weekly time frame looks great. Lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then we just formed a higher high finishing out the week. And again, a strong break above that 437.31 level. We are definitely going to see price jump up to like close to the 450s. And then we could definitely long-term see price jump up all the way to all-time highs, which quite frankly, with how it's moving, how strongly bullish it's moving, long-term, I think it'd be maybe max a month. You feel what I'm saying? Really just depends on these overall gap ups and how crypto starts to move, especially with some crypto week, something happening next week, whatever. But definitely looking at MSTR, definitely going to be looking for some calls up to around 463.74 going into next week, most likely Monday. And then definitely going to be looking for some swing positions, probably just within the week, since we are within a higher low to higher high phase, structurally speaking. Meaning the best point to get in would have been around here, or around the break of this bearish candle's high point right here. But overall, there is still a very good point to get into, as long as it doesn't gap up too high, to very much get into these positions, probably take it to the 450s, max the 463s, and then possibly have like a swing position of maybe like a medium risk. Considering the distance, it could even be low risk all the way up to like all-time highs, etc., etc., you know. And that's what I'm going to be looking at when it comes to MSTR. And then the last stock that I'm going to be looking at, if I can find that really quickly, is GPCR. If looking at GPCR on the daily time frame, we have been severely bearish, strongly breaking through these structural levels from previous history. And then also yesterday on the daily time frame, pushing up, forming a lower high, rejecting off of the structure level from previous history, and then literally wicking all the way down as a very strong close. And we are also getting stuck at this level right here at 18.71. And obviously what I'm expecting most likely to continue that bearish structure with a strong break below this 18.71, and we can definitely see price seek to fill in this gap even more, taking out these liquidity points as well, these higher time frame liquidity points, while also filling in the gap. And that's what I'm overall going to be looking for when it comes to GPCR. Currently where GPCR is right about here. Trading view, the gap's a little bit lower, but whatever, regardless, definitely looking for a break below this 18.71, and definitely going to be seeking to take out this liquidity to fill in this gap, possibly as far down as like the 16s, close to the $17 range. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. Anything bullish, not worried about unless price ends up shifting structure, like genuinely shifting structure. So mainly looking for puts, sell side direction when it comes to GPCR, below 18.71 all the way down to this gap, possibly as far to close to the $17 range, a little bit under that $17 range. And yeah, those are the three stocks I'm going to be looking at going into next week. LX could probably take a little bit of time, so set some alerts at those levels, you feel what I'm saying, or at least close to them levels so you can be aware of what's going on. But GPCR and MSTR are most likely going to play out. Well, GPCR should play out pretty strongly and immediately, most likely on Monday. MSTR probably going to be looking to get into some swing positions on Monday as well, but definitely some good overall looks that could play within the week and not just strictly Monday. But we're going to see what the Lord got in store. Hope the video was helpful, not just giving out some quote-unquote free game of what I'm looking at, and especially if anything works out well, because a lot of stuff that I did put out this week in my Discord and video did play out pretty smoothly. But more importantly, just helping people understand what they need to be looking at, what they need to be marking out, and what they need to be aware, so they can come up with an overall game plan and an overall genuine expectation, statistically and analytically speaking. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, appreciate you for tapping in the video. God bless, and I'll see y'all next time.